This is Bella. She's an experiment.
Okay, so before seeing Poor Things, I rewatched two of your early movies I love to death. That being Loveless by Catherine Bigelow and Streets of Fire.
Oh, God, those are early movies.
These are early movies.
I was a young man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still a young man.
Yes.
I was a very young man.
That's true. And what struck me, like adding the Poor Things to the mix, was that from the very beginning, you started playing like very archetypical characters, basically. I was wondering if it's more or less challenging for you to play a character with some kind of, pop culture background.
It's a good question. I think I probably don't have a good answer, but I will say that I've always been attracted to a certain kind of theatricality or working with a mask, working with something that's a little apart from life. Naturalism is wonderful, but it doesn't open up a lot of opportunities that cinema gives us, a kind of poetry, a kind of wonder, a kind of fantastic element. That's not to say that I never like to do naturalistic things, but I think basically I like something with a little muscle to it, a little sweep, a little dramatic heft.
Yeah, it's strange because I always thought it's even more restraining. You have this kind of metaphorical mask on you, and that leads me to the question about prosthetics, because
Yes.
I was wondering if it's something that it's in some way more liberating for you, or do you have to punch through to some kind of emotional truth when you have this makeup?
No, it's when you have you touched on it, when you have a heavy makeup, it's really, you look in the mirror, you don't look like yourself, you don't feel like yourself. Also, if it's an extensive makeup, you sit in a chair, becoming for a long time.
Yeah.
And for me, it's liberating because it allows you to free yourself from a kind of attachment of who you are. You become something else because you're presenting something very different to the world. So if I've got a horrible makeup on, I can see your eyes, how you see me differently than if I'm normal.
Yeah.
I mean, we hope.
So you're basically losing yourself with each layer of...
Yes, and that helps you because it scrubs you of all your kind of connection to yourself and opens the door to create a new self in this exercise of this fiction.
So how do you perceive your character in Poor Things? Do you think that he's more on the tyrannical demiurge side of things or more like father figure?
I think, we don't like to limit it. It's an interesting relationship because he is like a father figure in the fact that he acts very paternally. And because of his background, there's lots of conflict about emotion. He's not repressed because he's too smart for that, but it's a good character because it's very, it has lots of possibilities, and I think different people are going to see him in different ways depending on what their backgrounds are. But the relationship he has, particularly with the Emma Stone character, for me is interesting, and the fact that he basically has all the problems that sometimes there are in relationships between the fathers and their children, or even in partners. He has those trappings, but in the end, he selects the higher love and really loves her so much that he does let her go.
Yeah.
And that's expressed, I think, sort of beautifully in it. And he sort of takes a bullet for her.
When you were preparing for the part where you just, did you open this box with all the Geppettos and Frankensteins of the cinema and try to, get some inspirations? How did that process went?
You didn't need inspiration. All you had to do is walk on the set and get in those clothes. And also I had this prosthetic even on my body. You don't notice it so much, but it's there. I'm wearing it. This was a case of the set and the costumes and the world was so specific, it really told you what to do. you didn't have to invent because there was plenty to deal with. And it transported you to another way of being.
Yeah.
I mean, when a floor is made out like a plush pillow, you know, it makes you walk differently.
Yeah.
That's not a choice. It's a practical thing. Did I say to make the floor like that? No, that's part of the story. That's part of the architecture of the world. And there are many things like that, that the world was so complete that you enter it and it works on you.
I'm simple guy, so when I think Yorgos Lanthimos, I think about this cosmic entity which, you know, cruises through the space and see us as some kind of cosmic ants in the giant laboratory. But I guess that's not the case, that it is my imagination. So how is he as a director?
He's terrific because he's a very cultured guy in the sense of not in a stuffy or intellectual or pretentious way. No, he's intellectual, but he knows many things about many different disciplines. Some directors, you know, they just know about action, or they just know script, or they just know about a certain kind of acting. He knows about music, he knows about dance, he knows about architecture, he knows about acting, he knows about theater. He's got this general knowledge. And when a big production like this, if you see the movie, he's collaborating with a lot of different disciplines and he's guiding them. But he really takes care of all those things. His hand is on everything. So it's Yorgos's world. Yeah. And what I said before about he directs by giving you a world, and you enter that world and you be, and things happen because you apply yourself to that world.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sure.